Okay. Hello, my name is Mikael Abraham.
Hi, Ariel. We're in the library today.
Hey, Kelly Showman.
And we're interviewing Kelly
Showman.
Showman.
This
Mr.
guy.
Showman.
Yay.
Alright, so Kelly, in which branch of the military did you serve?
I served 8 years active duty in the Marine Corps, and now I'm currently serving as a reservist in the National Guard.
Were you drafted for this?
Oh, no. This
You
is,
volunteered?
I haven't been drafted since Vietnam, so
Oh wow.
this is all volunteer military.
Cool. Okay, why did you choose a specific branch to belong?
You want to know the honest to God truth on that? I initially wanted to join the Army, and I wanted to go be a tanker. I love tanks.
Really?
They're so
Tanking?
awesome.
Are they advanced? They're probably advanced.
They are. The Abrams tank is an amazing piece of machinery. But I walked by the Marine recruiting office, and there was happened to be a very attractive female Marine in there.
Oh, really?
And then the uniform sold
Yeah,
me, so
before and all.
kind of veered that way. And I didn't even know what the Marine Corps was until that
Really?
day. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's no kidding. That's honest to God truth how that happened. So all right.
So what happened when you went to training camp?
Boot camp was actually took place in, I left for MCRD, California, which is right in downtown San Diego. And I did that August 9th, I left, and August 10th was my first day actually in the military, 2003.
Was it pretty intense?
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
I had a bad attitude. I had a little mouth on me, and that literally, yeah, but it broke me completely down and brought me up, and I literally became a man during that time period.
Okay.
3 months, 13 weeks really. So.
Okay. How were your instructors, if you remember any?
Actually, all my instructors were all Hispanic,
Really?
and yeah, they were. The funniest one was the shortest one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not lying. Yeah, he was about like 5'4", and he was the meanest too. He's a little bulldog, and he's Staff Sergeant Nunez,
Okay.
and he was just But yeah, I still talk to him on Facebook occasionally too for just drop lines here and there. And it was kind of funny because as I was leaving my first unit, which was 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, he was coming into it, so I got to see him again outside the drill field, and it was like, oh, I know you. You're mean.
Stood out.
Yeah, you're rude. I don't like you at all, actually. Anyways,
Well,
yeah.
how did you have to end up adapting to this new lifestyle that you ended up going in?
You really don't have much of a choice. There is no adaptation period. Like literally, the first 2 weeks in boot camp, it breaks you. Anybody joins the military, I always tell them, you make for us that first 2 weeks in boot camp, that's the hard part. That's where you break all what you've known for your entire life, going to school and everything like that. It's all gone at that point. And then it becomes the building up period where they're trying to make you into a Marine.
Who you were like supposed to be.
Exactly. You can have no fear, that confidence, train you up to, where you are an instrument of war. It's insane. But the adaptation part took a little bit, and I remember a couple times actually in boot camp missing my family so much at home. I actually, I from a guy that never cries, I lay in my rack at night, and I'd sit there and almost tear up like, God, I miss you, Mom.
Thinking back to what your life was before.
Exactly, yeah. And a lot of people, they when they leave home, they've known all that life all through high school and everything like that, and it's like, life is never the same once you leave home, whether if it's for college or anything like this. But military, you're going halfway across country, you're doing your thing, and you never really come back to what you had. Everybody changes, they grow, they go different places.
New style and how you view things or whatever,
Yeah.
perspective in life.
And for me, I got stationed in San Diego, so I met new friends out there, knew everything. My old friends from high school, I just kept in touch with them, but most of them went to college, some just went to work and things like that. But I created a new life out there.
A whole new style.
Exactly, and it was exciting for me because I always wanted to go out and see the world, and I definitely did it there. So
Sounds fun. Any training that stood out to you? Anything that really broke you or really had fun doing, or
The funnest training I probably had, we'll touch both. The funnest training I've ever had was quite literally, I was a mortarman, which a mortar is like a cannon that fires up in the air, comes down. So, anyways.
Set down or
it's literally like a cannon tube. And you see them on movies where you drop around in it and they kind of duck and it shoots out. That's a mortar.
Okay.
And I didn't even know what a mortar was until I get to school of infantry and they're like, "You're gonna be a mortarman." I was like, "What is that?" "Do you know how to play spades?" I'm like, "Sure." And they're like, "You're fitting great." So, anyways, that training was actually really fun. Just learning something new. And it was exciting, and getting to blow things up. Who doesn't love that,
Of course.
Yeah. And then I didn't realize how much science went behind it too, and mathematic usage you needed to actually put a formula into a computer or on a plotting board and get the formula out to the guns and stuff. It was just, anyways. Most intensive training, literally, every training I've ever been to outside of boot camp was always just like, the mental layer, you always had that, and it was always about physical training. For me, boot camp literally was the toughest
Mentally
training.
strong, yes.
Yeah, because I came here nothing. I was a civilian off the streets. I came in, I didn't even work out, run. Every time anybody was like, hey, you want to go run, get ready for, going, I was like, I'll learn all that stuff when I get to boot camp. And I was sucking it so bad. God, that was some of the toughest parts of my life. And now every time in training after, I went to selection for special forces, made it through that. I didn't end up going through with all the training and everything like that. But that was a tough 2 weeks right there.
Yeah, getting out of bed is an accomplishment.
Yeah, I went to air assault school. I went to Pathfinder, and both those were just like, once you build up that mental layer where guess what, this is going to end somewhere. Then after that, it's just making your body finish.
Yeah.
I didn't have that in boot camp. Boot camp, it was like you showed up. I didn't know anything about mental toughness or anything like that. The longest I've ever stayed away from home before that was like 5 days.
Straight into it.
Yeah, and here you are. All of a sudden, you're getting hazed every day. You're getting doing push-ups. You're getting in trouble for the dumbest things. You're getting freaking chugging water jugs until you throw up. All the stuff that you've never had the concept would ever go on in your life. All of a sudden, it's thrown at you in a little condensed 3-month time period.
How many push-ups tops at once?
I don't remember.
No.
No, I don't remember. I have not. Like if I drop down right now, and I had a couple of beers last night, I probably could knock out straight in a pattern about 60 something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'd probably take a couple breaks and finish it out and get up to like 80, 90. You know what I mean? But especially going through boot camp, stuff like that. I did so much stuff I can't even remember. It finally got to the point where my mind was like an overdrive, just like, go through. Today we're going to go to sleep sometime, all right? Tonight we're going to have to go to sleep, all right? Let's get through this. You start counting by meal times too, like, I know lunch is coming around, like we're going to have to take a break to eat, so we just got to make it to that, Right. So, I don't know, that's kind of how the training went for me, anyways.
Okay, so where did you serve for?
Let's see here, order of duty stations. My first duty assignment, after boot camp, went to SOI. SOI is actually up in Camp Pendleton. That's the School of Infantry. That's where you learn your trade in the Marine Corps. Everybody in the Marine Corps goes through a basic rifleman instructor school. Unlike the Army goes through, and if only for infantry will you go through like infantry training. Marine Corps is different. Everybody goes through infantry training. Okay. Then after that, you can either go off to where you're going to learn how to work on tanks, helicopters, doing one of like 200 jobs that they have in the military, or like me, you stay in the infantry. And for me, when you go to infantry, you go to an advanced school, which is another 8 weeks. And for me, it was mortars. I learned mortars for 8 weeks. Yeah. And so after that, that was in SOI. I literally went straight down the road, like 3 miles down, to Camp Horno, which is right down there in Camp Pendleton. It's a little sub base inside of a big base. And I went to 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, was part of 1st Marine Regiment. It's awesome unit. They have a long heritage. They fought in everything from Guadalcanal all the way up, since the dawn of Marine Corps time. And anyways, after that, I did 2 deployments with that battalion. And it was back to back. I went over for OF2, OF3. I was there for taking Fallujah, Operation Phantom Fury, the end of 2004. We came back, we had about a 6-month break, and then we deployed again. We went deployed to Haditha Dam, did Operation Riverwalk, which I have stories all day about how boring that was. And retaking Haditha, Barwan, Hoplani, and all that area. Yeah, and that's actually what you see a lot of on the news right now. There's some Marines that are actually at Al Assad base, which is part of that AO, and they're getting attacked by ISIS right now. So for me, that's kind of surreal because we were there. Anyways, back to duty stations. After that, I got out, and I had a year out, and I hadn't decided if I was going to re-up or not. So they ended up sticking me for 6 months doing gate guard on the base, literally doing this all day, like signaling cars come through. Then I did 6 months handing out towels at a gym on base. That's part of the Simple Fit program. And after that, at the end of that, I decided to go ahead and re-enlist, and I re-enlisted into Recruiting Command. And in Recruiting Command, they sent me all the way back out here to the Dallas area, and I actually recruited out of Sherman, Denison, Greenville. I did a few areas out here.
So you had to travel a lot to do this.
Oh yeah, yeah. And during that time period, I actually went to recruiting school. That was back down in California at Camp Pendleton. Or sorry, MCRD.
Yeah.
And then I actually went out to New Jersey for a girl I met during that time period.
Yeah.
I was trying to get my recruiting station out there, and then I realized that she was a little crazy one, so I ended up bailing on her. And anyways, came back out here to Dallas. Yeah, it's like hell. I'll go back to Dallas, And so, anyways, in Dallas, the recruiting command was great. And during this time period, I actually kind of became a single father. And during that time period, you couldn't. Actually, I still think you can't. You can't be in the military active duty if you don't have a complete family. I guess you could say. You as a single parent cannot serve, mainly because if they deploy you, well, who's going to watch your kid, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So they didn't kick me out of the Marine Corps. They basically said, hey, you either got to fix your family situation or you're going to have to get out. We're not going to be able to let you re-enlist, So in my 4 years, that 4-year tour, I ended up talking to the National Guard, and the National Guard was looking for recruiters too. So I ended up just one day, had about a 2-month break, and then put on another uniform and started recruiting for the National Guard. And I did that for another 2 years, and then I deployed with the National Guard with 36 IB, which is out of Texas here, back to Iraq again out of Basra. So I was back there, and then when I came back, I went to reserve status and just started doing 1 week in a month. That's what I've been doing ever since. Got a job up here at Collin County Sheriff's Department.
Is that to go back and forth there?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, like the reserve status isn't bad at all. I mean, it's 1 week in a month. I go to Greenville, and like this week we're going down to Fort Hood. We're gonna do some ranges and stuff like that down there, and fly on some helicopters. Who doesn't love that,
Yeah.
So
definitely a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. So that was a chronicle order of duty assignments right there. So
Wow. So, is that still considered as you being on the front lines though? Like, have you ever had like actual frontline experience?
yeah, I've had the 3 deployments I've had were all frontline experience. The first 2, which were with the Marine Corps, which was Fallujah and all that stuff, that was definitely frontline experience. The second one was with the DITA, those were definitely frontline experience. During those time periods, we were basically living out of holes most of the time. The second deployment was mainly out of the back of trucks. We had big old 7 tons we roll around in. And we literally were a MAC section, they called it, Mobile Assault Company. We drive out to these little villages that didn't have a heavy American influence in them, just check in on them, as a presence patrol, like saying, hey, we're here if you need us. Have you seen any terrorists? Let's go shoot them, kind of thing, And
intensity.
yeah, it was pretty effective actually, for that area. And
did anything ever happen? Like any casualties, any big bombing or destruction or anything like that?
Especially my first deployment. Second deployment, we did get hit by a few IEDs, but I mean the casualty rate that we had in the Battle of Fallujah was just
off the
I joined the military to go to war and fight, and I got all that in my first deployment in the first 4 months being there. And after that, I've never been on deployment with that much intensity. I don't know if you guys, it's kind of hard to explain to you everything that went on. You really have to Google the second Battle of Fallujah, because the first one they got pulled out, and when we came in, they got to go ahead from the Iraqi government and the U.S. government to go ahead and push and take the entire city. So, I'm not going to get down all the details on it, but if you ever look up 3rd Battalion 1st Marines, 3-1 Marines, and then Battle of Fallujah, it'd probably be an overview of everything that happened. But I lost some good friends there, and one in particular that I still keep in contact with his family. And I'm actually getting married in May 9th, and his family's actually flying out. Yeah, they'll be part of the wedding as well. So, the first part of my military career, I had a lot of losses. That's the last deployment that I had with the National Guard. Not much happened. Matter of fact,
you have to go into.
Yeah, and for me, you see a lot of guys come back and they have a lot of PTSD and stuff like that, and I can relate. It took me years to get out of that mindset of what happened in that deployment in particular.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, I see how hard it is for a lot of those guys. And for me, it took, I can't tell you, I had drinking issues, I had sleeping issues, I had all kinds of crap. Now, perfectly okay. Every once in a while I'll wake up and have a bad dream and I'll be karate chopping shadows in the freaking corner of the room, but...
Jumping around.
Yeah. But,
ready.
yeah, no kidding. And that happened, 2004, 2015 now, so it was over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a shocker. And looking back at that, and y'all are doing a thing on veterans, man, it makes me...
Feel like you're old.
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm old. I'm young. You know, big deal. I know what you're talking about. Anyways, but you look at those guys that actually saw a lot of crap. Yeah, like Vietnam veterans, Korean veterans. Those guys, you know, they saw some shit. You know, and those guys came back and they were okay with it. And that's why I kind of like those generations. I feel are so much greater than us too, because you don't see them crying for PTSD. You don't see them crying for a lot of crap that a lot of our service members are today, and they're doing good, man.
Right.
You're not recording anymore?
No, I am. I'm saying low battery. That's
low
what I'm trying to
battery.
say. Yeah.
Oh.
I was trying not to interrupt.
Well, that's part of the video now.
Yeah, you guys got 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, we're good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you were talking about how you were still in contact with friends. And
Oh yeah.
How was that, like, contact with friends and families? Like,
I tell you, man, when you're on a deployment with like the same, 118 guys out of a platoon, or sorry, it's platoon. Oh, we started company. Anyway, same 118 guys out of the same company, for a deployment, and then you come home, you're like, I don't want to see those guys forever, and you'll find yourself like 5 days after you get home, like, hey man, what are you doing? Like, I'm not lying. It's that way. And then, after you get out and you move on, it's slowly, like, Facebook is such an amazing tool these days, I don't think any generation feels that, yeah. Back then, they'd had to send letters, and snail mail and crap, And now, hell, if I want to find someone, I can look it up, and then, we got whole groups where we actually talk, to each other all the time. We have reunions every year, especially for the Fallujah Marines. We fly back out to California, we do a hike, we go, get drunk for our buddies, stuff like that, and we keep in contact that way. So like now,
whatever time you have.
yeah, I know everything goes on most of these guys' lives. It's like, I don't know how guys did it back before. They see someone like, damn, you got married, you had kids. Like now, it's like, you had Starbucks today? Yes, like, that's great. So I mean, it's really easy to keep contact with people these days. What I'm trying to get down to, and for our guys, it's also kind of therapeutic, and it's always good to have a brother wherever you go. If I fly to San Diego, if I go to St. Louis, I know I'm going to have a couch to pass out on, We got such a big family growing so many places, so.
Good to have that backup for.
And trust me, they use me like crazy being out here in Dallas. I think I'm the only one from our company that was from Dallas. Every time they're driving through, I'm like, hey man, like, oh, yeah, come on over. I'm sleep my son's Thomas the Train bed.
What about your family and friends before you were enlisted in the
My dad probably took it the hardest, especially my first 2 points. I think that guy aged like 10 years. I'm not lying. My mom, my parents, they were all for it. Like, like I said, I was a little bit of a troublemaker when I was in high school. So the military was great for me. They were like, go,
Definitely the same.
Don't come back for a few years. Yeah. So, I had a great supportive family. They supported me when I got home and trying to find work and things like that. They supported me as a single parent. Like, so I've always had a large family that was very supportive. We're Irish for God's sakes. We're all open to each other's crap. So, anyways, but no, my family's very, very supportive, and they're very supportive now. Even if I had to get deployed tomorrow, they'd be there. So, and if anything, my family grew with the guys I met there. So, are actually serving. So.
That's nice. So just bigger and better family.
Yeah, bigger and better family. Definitely more diverse.
Next question.
Okay. Did you say this one right?
This is start a section.
Okay, yeah. Okay, where were you after you were done with all of your conflicts, being out there in the front lines? What did you do?
What I do?
Yeah.
I kind of never really got out of the military. I always did the reserve status. I did a bunch of different kind of civilian jobs, from bartending, working for an oil company. Recruiting, yeah, that was still active in the military. So, me, I've always kind of kept in touch with it. There was always a thing that I knew I never wanted to get completely out. Yeah, I never wanted to get completely out of it, because I loved it and I hated it at the same time so much. I knew if I left it, exactly, it is part of you. So, but that was definitely a thing. I always kept that thing going on. So for me, I never really left the military. I always be doing at least 1 week in a month.
Yeah, how did you make your way back home?
My way back home, when I finally was done, I was already here on duty, so it wasn't too bad, It was, my biggest thing was trying to find good civilian employment.
Yeah.
Finding a job was horrible, especially for veterans, because so many of us got out, especially guys like me that did infantry. They don't hire mortarmen to build buildings and crap,
Of course, different skill set.
Yeah, so now that's why I'm back in school again.
Yeah. Okay, and how did you, when you came back, how did your family receive you? Like, when you first viewed them?
When I first came back, like, let's say those first 2 deployments, They were. My mom was really worried about me and my, especially after the first one, because she kept writing it off as like, hey, he's just young. That's why he's going out partying so much, stuff like that. But she caught me several times where I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd put my uniform boots on because I thought like the world was ending or something.
Yeah.
I did. Literally, I slept so long and for so much time overseas with always having someone awake around me, either on radio guard or on fire watch around it. It freaked me out that a neighborhood, an entire neighborhood, possibly this entire city, could all be asleep at once, and nobody's watching, watching the surrounding areas to make sure nothing bad's happening.
Not a ready position.
Yeah, exactly. And it took a lot of time for me to get used to that not happening. And I got funny stories about that, but we'll get into all those.
Of course, and readjusting back to life here in Dallas.
Adjusting as a civilian was tough because no offense, I kind of dislike civilians. Most people walk around.
Hey man, I feel you.
Most people walk around this world and they are so clueless to like the atrocities that happen around the world. You know what I mean? We live in this little bubble of safety where everybody thinks everything's perfect. They don't really.
I mean, probably why you woke up in this.
They don't really realize how easy that could change in a flash. And they don't really realize how nice we have it over here.
Well,
I mean, I saw.
Down low, whatever.
Yeah, I've seen crap where like women just for waving at us while we're driving on a convoy got their faces kicked in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's not a thing we can do like that's their culture. They're treated as property. They don't realize how extreme a lot of those people are over there and how much they would give anything just to kill us. Like they've been trained that way and they hate us that much that they would do anything just kill us. They hate us so much, but you'll see them running around in Nike shirts, drinking Coke. Like, Americans are stupid, eat McDonald's. Like, you more American than me, dude. Like, shit. But
any other vet organizations you were part of?
what's that?
Any other vet organizations?
Marine Corps League and National Guard still, so.
Still recruiting, still part of.
Yeah, I'm not doing recruiting so much anymore. Now I do retention NCO for my unit, and it's only 1 week in a month.
Yeah.
And then we still do infantry, training stuff. So I still got my own squad. Plus I do, retention on the side. Do people's re-enlistment packets and stuff. So it's not bad.
Yeah. Okay. And how would you say it, in the main way, affected your life?
It made me who I am. Really, I don't really know who I would be without it. So. And I probably do know where I'd be. I'd probably be at the jail I work at now, just on the other side.
Yeah. Behind bars.
Yeah. I was crazy. I needed the military more than it probably needed me at the time. So I was just wild, man. I had no fucking control, man. If I thought I'd get away with it, yeah. And that, I was an adrenaline junkie, man. I rode motorcycles. Like the cool thing for me was to go 189 on the damn toll road up there,
Get some speed.
And now I got a son, I can't do that. Now I drive a freaking HHR, They might as well have a minivan.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it really impacts your life.
It did, man. It really did. They all best, A lot of people have bad experiences with like VA and stuff. They pay for my school. I don't have any like real big injuries coming out. I have small things like my ears ring. It's called tinnitus or something like that. I have little flashbacks from here to there, but for the most part, I'm a happy guy. I love life. I appreciate life. I care about it more than anything. I have a family now. I'm getting married. I have my son, who's a terrorist on his own. I get to fight that terrorism every day. And I can't really complain about anything. All the stuff that I went through made me who I am, and I love life. I love this country, and and I'm still serving. Hell, I might get called up again if we go to war with another damn ISIS or
Any
Russia.
words you want to leave off about that? I mean,
what?
Just your whole life experience on
Oh,
what you ended up going.
Yeah, I think everybody should do it. Really. I mean, if you have the capability of not just, you don't have to do just military, but some kind of service to the community. Whether if you're just giving up, 8 hours of your time on 1 week in a month to go to an animal shelter and help out or something. It's something about public service giving back to your community that I feel like everybody should be kind of mandatory to do.
It really influences you and all.
Yeah, I mean, if you realize how bad other people have it, and what small little things like giving up some of your time can do to change that, and change your whole situation, not just, people, but any situation as a community, you would be amazed at how better this world would be. And don't be ignorant. My God, people are ignorant. Like, oh, it's that's overseas. I don't need to worry about that. Dude, I'm telling you, man. You got to read that damn. I forgot who wrote it up, but it talks about people being sheep, and then there's wolves, and then there's sheepdogs. You know what I mean? Those wolves are out there. The majority of this country is sheeps. Then you got your sheepdogs like me who go out there and make sure that the wolves don't come around. You know what I mean? Don't be a sheep. Don't ever be that person. You know. So
We all can't be sheepdogs though.
no, but you can be the sheep that's looking out behind the least, you know, that knows those wolves are there.
Yeah,
Most of the
it's
sheep
crazy.
get in the middle of the herd and they're like, we're good.
Yeah.
I'm warm in here. I'm not gonna touch anything. So, you know, anyways,
Yeah.
but I'm going all day about that.
Yeah, of course. But thank you, Kelly.
Hey, not a problem. Is that it?
Yeah, yeah.
Man, now we're gonna ask me my shoe size,
Yeah.
favorite drinks, favorite color, none of that.
Where did you get?
Yeah. What's your favorite clothing? Anyways, man. Well, I appreciate you guys, you know, giving me the time to
Thank
do
you.
all
I
that on my
really did.
chest, too,
Other than the
so.
project, I really did actually understand your experience, and I'm glad that I'm actually listening to it and actually.
A good
listening
view,
to
sense
it.
of.
You're not
what's
gonna copy
going
off my
on.
government assignment, man.
No. Oh, come on. That was on point.
I'm already copying off someone else. That's just too many copying.
It was good. It was great. It was great. Awesome.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, cameraman.
Stop button, guys.
Yeah.
Stop button. All right, you guys were at. How you pronounce?